Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network. It's week 14 already. Week 14, time flies when you're having fun, and we're going to find the sides and totals to bet right now. All right, we are back. This is the FanSpeak Network brought to you by fanspeak.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I am here with Tyler and Jayme. Jayme, what did you think of week 13?
It was good, man. A lot of good games. Always love the Thanksgiving days as usual. You crushed it on Thanksgiving. You were spot on with the Bears and the Pack, so congratulations on those two. But yeah, I'm excited for week 14, man. We're getting close to the end. It's sad, but the playoffs is always the best part anyways.
Yeah, it seems like we kind of know who's going to make the playoffs right now, but there'll be some things that we'll be looking at going forward. Tyler, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Feels like a good day spread.
All right. Well, if I'm going a little fast, because I do have to get into work, bro. After not working for like almost 2 months, and now I did a 10-hour shift yesterday. My body is so hurt. But it'll be good because I can burn off some of all the extra holiday eating I did. But speaking of eating, the Green Bay Packers were eating against the Miami Dolphins last Thursday, Jayme, and they're going to be the first game that we are going to preview today. So, of course, I love that spot for the Green Bay Packers, and I mentioned it on the show yesterday. What I love is that for this premier game, because this is a great game, one of the best games of the year, one of the best Thursday night games of the year, these teams get a full week to prepare. Sometimes I think it's BS when you get these huge matchups, right? Because the Lions are, 11-1? Mm-hmm. The Packers are 9-3. So Packers got a chance to catch them, right? I would hate for this game to be played on short rest. I'm glad that each team gets the full week to prepare, and we're going to see the best out of both these teams. The Packers were, it depends on what book you're at. It's 3.5, depending on where you like. But, Jayme, I'm going to start with you. Are you going to continue to back your favorite team?
I love Green Bay in this spot, man. I think Detroit's a little banged up too. Packers going to get Jair Alexander back, but Lions are likely going to miss Taylor Decker, a couple defensive ends, defensive tackle, and DJ Reader. I think this team's hurting a little bit, and the Packers are starting to play their best football. Since Packers have come off the bye, this team is ranked number 1 in EPA per play offensively overall, number 1 in dropback EPA per play by actually a wide margin. This team is just reminding me a lot of last year, where we're getting close to the end of the year, and this team is just playing their best football, and that's what good coaches do. And Matt LaFleur is a great coach. Jordan Love, he's not making near as many mistakes, man. This team isn't relying on the explosive plays. He's more capable of just doing a check down to Tucker Kraft. And I think this is a great spot, man. I like this team playing inside of a dome, anyways. To be honest with you, and Josh Jacobs is just, man, he's looked like a top 5 running back in the NFL. Like he is a much better running back than Aaron Jones is, just for the fact of LaFleur can give him 20 to 25 touches every single game and not have to worry about him getting hurt or him wearing down. I love this spot for Green Bay, man. Their defense is playing well too. Quay Walker, Lucas Van Ness is playing 2 of the best games that they played in their career in back-to-back games. They're starting to get pressure on the quarterback. Early this season, they're super reliant on takeaways. So I love Green Bay in this spot. I think this is the 3.5 to me is a smash spot, one of my favorite bets of the week. So I like Green Bay quite a bit here.
Tyler, what do you think? Are you jumping on the Packers bandwagon?
Yeah, I'm with Jayme on this one. I think we take the Packers. I mean, it's December. That's usually when the Packers go on this little run. I know it usually starts at home, but it's going to start on the road this year. Detroit's defense just banged up, spread. I mean, they were lights out in the first half against Chicago. Bodies started dropping, and Chicago was able to come back and backdoor that game and almost win the game if it wasn't for the dumb decisions they made at the end of the game. So I think Jordan Love and those guys are going to be able to go out there. They're going to be able to run the ball against this defense, something we haven't seen anyone do all year. And they're going to be able to move it through the air. So I like Green Bay to pick up the straight-up win here and just make this division one of the more entertaining ways we're going to end this season. Because just like you said, we pretty much know who's in the playoffs on both sides of the conferences. But now it's the fun game of, well, who's going to get the NFC West? You still got those 4 teams. When Green Bay wins on Thursday, it's going to be the fun game of who's going to actually hold this 1 seed and win the NFC North. So it's going to be fun. There's going to be some fun storylines to end the season.
So, Jayme, yes, last week when we did the show, I was assuming that, because we were teammates last week, right? We were both on the Packers. It was my biggest bet of the year. You were going to the game. I assured you that the streak was going to be broken and that you had chosen the right game to travel to see your team. Because, we already went over this, Miami and the Colts, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, I thought we were going to go back to being on the opposite sides this week.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Tyler brought it up, and I brought it up on the show yesterday. The Lions lost 4 key pieces off their front 7 that was already a little bit in trouble.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I can't lay it with the Lions. I can't lay it with the Lions now. So to me, it's Packers and pass. However, I'm a little bit of a coward. I didn't join you there betting the Packers. I took the over instead, Jayme. And my idea is, unlike a normal Thursday night game, both these teams' offenses will have time to prepare. I think the shorter week kind of favors defenses, which is why we usually like Thursday night under so much, because you have less time to kind of install a specific game plan. But you guys both talked about one of the main reasons I like the over. On the Green Bay side, you got Josh Jacobs. And then on the Lions side, we missed 4 players who are going to be key to stopping that run. And we know if that Packers offense, both teams really, but especially the Packers, once they establish that run and you can keep Jordan Love playing within the system and just hitting those chunks down the field, but you're not relying on him to do everything, that's when that offense is really in the sweet spot. So, I wanted to be able to argue against this week. I don't think I can take the line. Packers are pass, but I really like the, what do you have on the total?
I have it sitting at 49.5, so slightly a bit less than what it is. I could see it, but I also could see just a scenario too where if the Packers are moving the football on the ground, where Packers have these 6 to 7 minute long drives, that just could really end up hurting that over, especially because they haven't been relying on the explosive plays as much. But both teams do have that explosive arsenal in their system, so I could see it. I think that's I could see it. I would be a pass for me, but I do like the Packers side quite a bit.
All right, Tyler, any thoughts on the total for that game?
No real thoughts on the total for that game.
All right,
I lean over, but I'm not going to play it probably.
All right, fair enough. And my final thought, I just want to say it again because I know Goodell's watching. You got to give these guys a week to prepare. It's at an extra bye week. These guys are getting beat up already, and then especially for a game of this magnitude, it's so nice to know we can't blame the short week if one team loses, right? Because it's going to be devastating to whichever fan base loses. And it's not the end of the season, but I think both fan bases are going to be treating this like a playoff game and kind of a referendum of their playoff chances. Let's move to Sunday, Tyler, where your favorite team and your favorite quarterback, Sam Darnold, will host the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins, who, boy, Jared Goff had a 5-interception game and he bounced back fine. Can Kirk Cousins do the same thing? Tyler, how are you approaching this matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons?
I mean, this is probably going to backfire on me, but I'm going to back the Vikings.
Yes.
And it's solely based off the fact that Atlanta's defense can't get pressure, so Darnold should be able to thrive in this spot. My luck, Darnold's going to stand back there with all the time of day and just throw a bunch of interceptions and screw me, but I think the Vikings win this game. Their defense should be able to just give Kirk Cousins fits. They blitz a lot. He can't deal with the blitz. I think it should be similar to week 1 for Kirk Cousins when he played Pittsburgh. Just the defense is giving him a ton of problems. They can't really get anything going. And I think that their secondary doesn't stand a chance against Jefferson and Addison and these guys. So I like Minnesota. I like Jefferson props. I think Minnesota wins the game outright. Don't know if I'm going to lay the 4.5 though.
All right. Jayme, I think they priced this one right. There's no way I'm taking the Falcons here. It's Vikings or pass. But, last week I said Vikings or pass, and I'm glad I passed because, they got the win, but they were not able to cover. How are you approaching this game?
Yeah, these are two most fraudulent teams in the NFL for sure. I mean, at least the NFC for sure. So, rooting for Atlanta as a Packer fan, but I probably got to back Minnesota here, to be honest. Atlanta's just not that great of a football team. I think they're probably the 21st, 22nd, probably best team in the entire league. So I think this is a pretty good spot for Minnesota. Kirk Cousins he's terrible, man. I genuinely think this team would be better to play Michael Penix Jr. Like some of the decision making he made, his decisions were just they're terrible. I couldn't understand some of those passes, man. They weren't even just like bad passes; they were just bad decisions. He just looked slow out there. His reads look slow. I have no real interest in backing Atlanta here. I like Minnesota by the 4.5. I'm not sure if I'm going to take it, but that's definitely where I lean.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Jayme, a game that I will be watching as a fan, as a Raiders fan, as you see me sitting in the empty stadium here, is the New York Giants, who are taking on the New Orleans Saints. Now, if you guys watch the show, you know that I think it's a one-man quarterback class, and I want Shedeur Sanders. I'm not that high in Cam Ward, and we can talk about that later. You can tell me right now. Anyways, I'm really rooting for the New York Giants. They're catching 5 at home. However, I don't have a lot of faith in them. How are you approaching this game where the Giants are catching 5 at home against the New Orleans Saints, who fell short against the Los Angeles Rams last week in a game that, I'll be honest, I didn't pay much attention to?
Yeah, this is going to be a quick one. This is a pass for me. I have no interest in backing either one of these teams. I think losing Taysom Hill probably hurts this team more than most people probably think. So the Giants are just a mess, man. I was on Giants when they had Drew Lock, and that just did not go the way I thought it would. So this is going to be a pass for me.
Tyler, my guess is you're going to feel the same, but am I right?
No, I'll bite. I'll take the Giants.
Really? I love it.
Bite. I just think it's one of those spots where it's like we all ran to bet the Giants in Drew Lock's first game. He looked decent. He was able to run the ball. But the thing was Dallas's defense they were getting a ton of pressure. They were putting it on them. They just couldn't get anything really going outside of his runs. Well, the Saints defense is one of the worst in the league. You're taking them outside of the dome in December and putting them in New York, which is never a good idea. Giants can get pressure on Derek Carr. We know that it never ends up well. You take Taysom Hill out. That kind of leaves nothing on the offense outside of Kamara. So I'll take a shot on the Giants covering and winning this game. I don't think they lose out the rest of the year. I think they win one more. I think it's this one.
I so hope you're right. I need 2 teams to lose.
You don't need the Jags. The Jags they're not taking Shedeur.
Yeah, they're not taking a quarterback.
They're taking Travis
Hunter. The thing is, someone else could trade up with them.
No. If they're sitting at 1 or 2, they're taking Travis Hunter spread.
You think so?
Yes. Why would they? Whoever's calling that phone to come up to get Shedeur at 1 isn't coming with the second pick to give them Travis Hunter. You see what I'm saying?
I hope you're right.
Like they would have to back up to save 5, and then you're not getting Hunter at that point.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, let's talk about that game, Tyler, because I want the Jaguars to lose or to win one more game, and I think this is the week they have a chance against the Tennessee Titans and their flailing offense. I think Tennessee is going to give Will Levis one more year. I don't know if they really believe in Levis, but most people don't think this is a good quarterback class, and next year is supposed to be a lot better. So maybe they just ride this out one more year. The Titans are laying 4 at home. Not just because of my rooting interest, Jayme. It's just one of those. I'm not laying points with Tennessee. Who are they to be laying points to anybody? And the Jacksonville Jaguars qualify as anybody in this matchup because, probably the worst team in the league, right? The standings are what they are, and these are the 3 worst teams: the Raiders, the Giants, and the Jaguars. But I don't want to lay 4 with them. I'm fine staying away from this game, but what do you think?
This would be a pass for me too. If Trevor Lawrence was there, I'd like Jacksonville. Mac Jones did look kind of all right when he came in, but I still just don't trust him. And I think the team's a little banged up. I think they're righting ship here, man. It's going to be over for them. The 3.5 is probably okay, but this is a pass for me. I don't have any interest in backing either one of these teams.
Tyler, how about you?
I can't bet Jacksonville when they can't even get the papers to the fax machine to fire their head coach that they said they were firing if he had a bad loss. They said they were firing Doug Peterson if they had a bad loss to Detroit. They lost 52-6. And the dude still got a job. Like, they just don't know what they're doing over there. But I'm convinced that guy just doesn't care about the football team, and he's just worried about the wrestling organization he owns. So I can't bet the Jags. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence was in there, maybe it'd keep this game a little closer. Tennessee's defense has been very good. I think that they could just stifle this Jags offense. And it's one of those spots where you're going to need Levis to give you the game. And I don't think the Jags defense can get you the game. So I would lean Tennessee, but I'm not playing this game.
All right. So you like Tennessee. I would like Jacksonville, but we all agree you don't need to bet this game, guys.
No.
All right. We're going to get the crappy teams right out of the way, Jayme.
Yeah.
And the final team that is an embarrassment to professional football is my favorite team, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's right. They continue to flounder. They can't even snap the football. But, hey, I'm glad. We don't need a meaningless win over the Chiefs to knock us down to 9 in the draft. We need to be able to hit the top. Maybe Cam Ward will be all right. I don't know. But regardless, the Las Vegas Raiders are catching 7 here against Tampa. Total is 46. Jayme, another one. I think the books did a pretty good job on this line. And I'm not necessarily trying to get involved. I think if you told me to, if this was first take, I could make a good argument for both sides. How are you approaching this one?
I like the Raiders here, man. I just think Tampa Bay's defense is just not very good. Aiden O'Connell, I think, is not terrible. I think he's actually probably better than Gardner Minshew. I think it gives the team a better chance to win. Brock Bowers has been played really, really, really at a high level. So I just think this Tampa Bay defense allows for backdoor covers quite often. I could see this being a 10-point game, 13-point game, and then we just get a touchdown in the final 2 minutes of the game for the Raiders, and then the Raiders end up covering that +7. So I like the Raiders here. It's an ugly one, but one that I probably will have some action on.
Yeah, and hey, the Raiders were able to cover a spread last week against the Chiefs, so it's not. Hey, I don't mind if we cover. We just got to lose this game. Tyler, what do you think, man? Are you laying it with the Buccaneers, or do you think the Raiders keep it close and hopefully another loss?
I don't think I'm gonna lay it with the Bucs, but if you force me to bet this game, I would bet the Bucs. I mean, the Raiders, they're just one of those teams where it's like they have a couple games during the year where you kind of think they have some life in them. And you're like, oh, I'm going to bet them next time they play. And then they take your money and wash it down the drain. They beat the Chiefs on Christmas last year, and then they turned around and played the Colts. Everyone ran to bet them. Guess what they did? Straight up loss. I can't back the Raiders. I think they are literally the worst team to bet on because when the spots they're put in that they should win, they never do. And this is one of those spots you think, oh, they could cover. They're playing a bad defense. Should be able to move the ball. Tampa Bay is going to walk this team off the field on Sunday, in my opinion. Bucky Irving will be able to run the ball. They'll throw the ball to Mike Evans. They still have life. They have something to play for. The Raiders want to lose. They want one of the quarterbacks. Buccaneers are watching the Falcons just fall. They could still win that division and make the playoffs. They're going to go out there and boat race this team, in my opinion. So if I had to play it, I'd be on the Bucs.
All right. Opposite sides on that game. But are either of you guys getting official there, or is that just the way you lean?
If I'm playing it, I'm probably playing it through an alt, like -12.5. I want a nice price on this.
Yeah, are you making the Raiders official, or is that just the way you lean?
No, I'm gonna play the Raiders. Tyler makes some good points. Gets me always a little nervous, but I mean, back in the Raiders always use the blood flowing, anyways. On a Sunday. So
they did it earlier. They did it earlier this year, where it was like, oh, Carolina's looked like the absolute worst football team we've ever seen in our life for the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And guess who they played next? Raiders. Everyone ran to bet the Raiders. Guy to my left did too. Carolina won.
Well, Tyler, that's a great transition because the next game that I want to talk about is the Carolina Panthers, who are catching 13 against the Eagles. Jayme, another game I don't have a lot of interest in, but I want to know. Well, first of all, I want to know if you have interest in this game. And hey, Bryce Young's coming along, right? I don't think he's going to ever be, a top 5 guy, but he might be able to become, Jordan Love style player. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, the disrespect, man.
Got to stay true to the brand here.
100%. I feel you. Bryce Young has looked really good, man. They've honestly they could have beaten the Chiefs and the Bucs here, man, back-to-back weeks. But they fell short. 13 just seems like a little too much. I do like the Eagles quite a bit. But they did just come off to a big win against Baltimore, man. That could wear you down a little bit. 13 is just a lot of points. It's going to be a pass for me. I have this honestly about like 11.5 to 12 on the Eagles side. So pass for me. I wouldn't be honestly surprised at either outcome if Carolina just comes back down to earth and looks terrible, or if they keep it somewhat competitive here. So this is a pass for me.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the NBA Cup. There's no incentive for running up the score. So,
Yeah.
I'm loving your Eagles ticket right now.
Yeah, it's so good.
With those Lions injuries, to me, they just moved into the first place, and they're really coming together at the right time. Tyler, however, as high as I am on the Eagles, I'm not interested in laying 13 in the National Football League, even against the lowly Carolina Panthers.
I think if I had to play this game, I'd play the Eagles. I mean, I know you said this isn't the NBA Cup and winning by margin doesn't get you anything extra, but like the way this team is built, like just win game by margin. Like you get up in a game, you're like, well, I'm just going to run the ball.
Yeah.
You have Saquon Barkley standing back there who's just going to explode at some point when you keep handing him the ball. He's going to take 150 to 60 yards for a touchdown. And he might do it again. And this week he gets the worst rushing defense in the entire league. So I think if they get up, like they could just keep running up the score through Saquon and even Gainwell and these guys. Like they're going to get the push at the line of scrimmage. They're going to be able to run the ball. And Carolina's looked good the last couple of weeks. Bryce Young isn't a bum. He's got no real weapons out there. His offensive line is a little bit better. He's played good the last couple of weeks. His coach is all right. I will give his coach credit. Next year, once they get him some weapons, we'll see how he looks. I think he's a lot closer to Stroud than people think because Stroud isn't as good as people think. And 13's a lot, but I think the Eagles is the way to go in this game.
All right. Yeah.
Just because of that factor of like if they're up 10 and they're running the ball in the fourth quarter, you're like, oh, I'm safe. I got the extra 2.5. There goes Saquon for a 50-yard touchdown. Yeah. It's inevitable with him anymore. Especially in the second half.
Gainwell, right? I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like what happened in that Washington game on Thursday Night Football a few weeks ago. Like the game was close until it wasn't. Right?
It happened in the Washington game. It happened in the Rams game. It happened this past week to Baltimore. He wears on the defense, and then all of a sudden there's the wide open hole.
Yep.
Tyler, when I officially retire from work and NFL betting, I'm only going to play Mike Tomlin as a dog. So if I was retired, I wouldn't even be looking at this game. However, we do need to talk about every single game. But isn't this our worst nightmare? The Pittsburgh Steelers laying 7. It's your favorite team, Tyler. I'll start with you, but if it wasn't for that quote unquote revenge spot or whatever,
I think I got a bet we could both get behind in this one where it's like, all right, we really don't got to play with the points here, and it's a nice odds. Let's just parlay the Vikings money line with the Steelers money line and get the hell out of these two games. They're both going to win. I don't know what the score is going to be, but they're both going to win, and that's a -112 ticket. I'll just get in and get out with that.
All right, fair enough. So Tyler's refusing to take a stand. Are you going to take a stand here, Jayme, on this premier or AFC North game between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, this is going to be a pass for me. I agree. The Steelers are probably going to win. You can't trust Jameis Winston to win football games down the stretch, really.
What do you mean he's praying, bro?
That's true. That's true.
God not to get
bro, he has the craziest post-game conferences. We deserve him to be in the league for 5 more years.
He has to be their starter from here on. I mean, the dude's throwing
so awesome.
Outside of the pick sixes last night, the dude had 250 yards at halftime. That's ridiculous.
He's making Jerry Jeudy relevant, man. He's making every receiver on that team relevant, which is honestly pretty cool, But I just can't trust him, man. And give Mike Tomlin, a little piece of that action. This is gonna be a pass for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Steelers did cover. Steelers are definitely probably gonna win here, but I'm gonna pass on the side total. I will say one thing about Mike Tomlin, man. I watched last night the Packers Steelers Super Bowl from 2011. That dude has not aged a single day. I look at Mike McCarthy.
Wait, you're rewatching Green Bay Super Bowls?
Oh, dude, 100%. I laid down in bed. I put it on YouTube. The full game is 2.5 hours. It's great. But Mike McCarthy on the other side, I mean, night and day, man. Night and day from what he looked then to what he looks now. Mike Tomlin, I swear, I was like, this video was taken yesterday, man. He looks like the exact same dude, which is just cracks me up. But yeah, that's why Mike Tomlin's still there. But yeah, I lead Steelers, but this is gonna be a pass for me,
What was it like to see Aaron Rodgers be elite?
dude.
I mean, like, did you even recognize this guy?
Dude, I literally was late and I was like, God damn, Rogers. And I know, I know, we all know, but sometimes you do forget. Watching him play and throw that football, man, there were some of those throws that he made that I'm just like,
Yeah.
he's the best thrower of the football of all time. And this just had to remind me a little bit.
I don't know about that.
The best thrower of the football of all time. Dan Marino also great.
I'll take Marino or Elway, I think. But I mean,
yeah. It's we're thin margins here either way.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're doing that, man. Bro, I'm gonna have to watch like the '83 Super Bowl tonight or whatever the year.
Dude, YouTube is great, man. YouTube is great. They got all these classic games on there, which is awesome.
All right. So Tyler's just gonna take the easy way out with the money line.
The Steelers are still 25-1 to win the Super Bowl. I mean,
They don't really have a chance.
They don't, but at the same time, they kind of do.
Let's hear this.
To get there,
someone who's always so negative about his team, I got to hear this.
I mean, they're in the 3 seed, so they're going to get the first wild card. Broncos, they would take care of Bo Nix in the first round, and from there, you don't know what's going to happen from there between the Texans, Chargers, and Ravens. One of those two teams could upset the Chiefs or Bills. You could definitely beat one of those other two teams. If you could avoid having to go to Buffalo or KC, which if one of those lower seed teams just pull off the upset, it could happen. All of a sudden, you're the favorite in the AFC because they got to come to Pittsburgh.
I actually like you guys better against KC than Buffalo.
I agree there too.
Yeah.
I actually think you could win.
We get stomped every time we play Josh Allen.
Yeah. Which is weird since you do so well against Lamar.
But yeah,
right?
So, tell me that's not a realistic path though. Spread. Steelers beat Broncos in round, or Steelers beat Ravens in round 1. Texans and Chargers play in round 1. Chargers beat Texans. Chargers go to KC and win.
Yeah.
We're all high on the Chargers. Like Harbaugh gets.
You just need to get Buffalo out of there, and I guess you're there.
Yeah, but Buffalo's a tough one. But I mean, dude, you have a great coach, a top 5 coach easily in the league, a great defense. And I gotta give Meigs credit, man. Russell Wilson, it looks pretty damn good.
That Russ that played Cincy on Sunday, mind you, Cincy's the worst defense.
Cincy defense,
than the Saints.
Yeah,
and everybody's balling out on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bro, I love when they put Fields in there
to
ice the game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you put your best running back in the game? Hey,
right?
Like as good as Najee Harris is, I'll take Fields.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
I can see it.
Actually believing in your team. Set yourself up for heartbreak.
Just at that price spread, you tell me the Vikings got a better shot at 17-1? No chance.
I don't think so. No.
You're telling me Baltimore's got a better shot at 10-1? Probably I say no, because they're not getting a home playoff game.
It's close, but the 10-1 to 25-1 what makes the big difference there.
Yeah.
You know?
One of those teams has a realistic path to play every playoff game at home until the Super Bowl. The other team's not getting a home game regardless.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Tyler actually making some sense here, supporting his team. I love to see it. Usually he's so down on his team.
You know what that means, right, Spread?
Heartbreak.
Bo Nix legacy game. Wild card weekend.
All right. Well, I can't wait to talk. Oh,
that'd be the second. That would be the
week.
second Denver quarterback that wasn't. Watch this. I'm gonna get them all fired up. That wasn't a good NFL quarterback to beat us in the playoffs. He would join the likes of Tim Tebow in beating the Steelers in the playoffs.
Still can't believe Tebow. I thought he was gonna end up being okay. All right. Tyler, one of our favorite plays of the year has been to fade the Jets. However, did they finally price us out of here? Is 6 too many points, man?
I'm sorry, I was reading something.
New York Jets +6 in Miami taking on the Dolphins. I know we love fading the Jets, but the price might have just got too high.
I put him in a teaser.
Okay, but against the spread, what would you do?
I'm probably gonna pass.
Yeah,
Just because Tua's had the couple good
them, right?
Tua's had the couple good matchups. I mean, let's be honest, bro. We kind of got lucky covering that Seattle game last week against the Jets. Like, we probably should have lost that one.
Oh, we definitely should have. If it wasn't for Rodgers just being a complete joke.
I mean, we got out. I'm not gonna go and just run to fade him again after he played one of his worst games I've ever seen. He's out there throwing a little tantrum. He's pissed off. This is the spot where all of a sudden he snaps back for maybe one game and looks like his old self. So I'm not getting it.
I mean, he has to if he wants to play next year.
Yeah,
supposedly the Jets don't want him back.
I could see Miami still winning the game, but I could also see Miami the last couple of weeks just kind of being a fake thing that we've seen, and them just having good matchups against New England and other teams where they were just able to run up the score and do well. And this defense kind of snaps back to reality for the Jets and plays well against Miami. So I think it's just a pass for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love fading the Jets, Jayme, but I don't think I can do it this week. What do you think?
It's a pass too, man. You're right. The market finally figured it out, right? It's like it took about 13 weeks, but they finally got it figured out. This Jets team sucks, man. And the thing is, Rodgers in that first half, he looked like the old Rodgers for a little bit, right? It looked like he was having one of those vintage games, moving the ball. And then he missed wide open Garrett Wilson. And then after the game, he's kind of blaming some other players. Classic, right? It's just like I don't know, man. This team has to be just like so devastated mentally. There's no real point to. I don't know. What are you playing for here? I don't know. The Dolphins do get the extra week or the extra 3-4 days rest from playing on Thursday night. Going to be back playing at home. I think that's going to matter for this team quite a bit. I would probably lean with the Dolphins, but like I said, this is going to be a pass for me just because you really never know what to expect with this Jets team. So, pass for me.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers will play football next year?
Yeah, definitely will.
For what team?
That Minnesota Vikings. No,
I know, huh?
I mean, it does kind of feel that way slightly, but I honestly think that he still does. I love Green Bay. Well, I don't think I could see him doing that. Whereas like Brett Favre was like straight out of spite. Like he comes on the Pat McAfee show and chops it up about Green Bay every single week, right? So like I don't think he would actually go.
And Minnesota wouldn't take him. I mean, they got an interesting situation there
with JJ McCarthy coming in too. But maybe they want to have JJ McCarthy learn another year from Aaron Rodgers.
Like, how far would they have to get before they just have to bring Darnold back? Like if they make the NFC Championship game, Tyler, cover your ears. But if they make the NFC Championship game, they can't not re-sign him and run it back with him, right?
I think the more likely outcome is they play in wild card week, whoever they play, Darnold throws 3 or 4 interceptions and loses the game, and then they're like, okay, Darnold's not the guy.
If they lose in the wild card, then it's not hard at all. But I'm just saying, let's just say they play, because there's a good chance they play Atlanta.
Yeah,
they're gonna win. All right.
Yeah.
And
then, good. I mean, we're gonna get that match this week, but I don't know what team he'll play for. He's definitely coming back. I don't think he'll be for the Jets. I mean, the Packers highway robbery on that trade.
I just don't know who's gonna want him. Like Tennessee, like who's gonna take him?
Yeah, I mean Tennessee is not a great fit.
Going to play next year, and it's not going to be Minnesota.
I don't think it'll be Minnesota either.
He's going back to New York, but he's going to be a Giant.
No, because they're going to get Cam Ward. The Giants are going to draft a quarterback.
I mean, you said they're not going to start him day one. They're going to try and do what everyone else has did for the past 2 or 3 years. You get the guy and bridge him.
Yeah, Vikings drafted the quarterback too, so it's like I could see that. That's honestly not bad.
That's a good point.
Darnold was never supposed to be playing at this point in the year.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
All right.
They're not going to turn around and give him $100-some million that he's going to demand in free agency, especially if he makes the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
All right. The fade the Jets train has finally gone off the tracks. But to me, the Dolphins are past. I'm still not taking them. I just don't think this is the week to jump on. And you guys are probably like, are you ever going to make a pick? And I finally am. The Seattle Seahawks are +2.5. Yesterday, I could not believe this was +3. And even at +2.5, I still like the Seahawks here, Jayme. I don't know, man. I just don't understand what the market sees in Arizona that I don't see. I think the Seahawks are the better team, and I'm catching points. The only thing you can say is travel, and although we don't consider it, Arizona has been pretty good at home.
Yeah.
So I guess you could talk me out of it. I don't love it, but to me, I like the Seahawks in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's tough on the side. I would probably lean Seattle with you. I do actually like the under here quite a bit. I got in at under 45.5. So I think it's two teams that offensively they've struggled throughout different courses of the season. I think they play on thin margins, but I think both defenses have played pretty well. And the travel, I could see this being a game where it hits around that 40, 42 point total here. So I liked it at 45.5. I still like it at 44.5 too. So I'm on the under here, but as far as the side, I probably would lean with you in Seattle. It's tough to back Kyler in this offense right now, man. I also have Trey McBride. They're struggling getting the ball, the ball going, man. And Marvin Harrison, we thought like everyone got that alert in the morning how they were going to feature Marvin Harrison. He had like one catch in the first half. He did end up getting in the box. Maybe this is the week they get him going again.
He ended up having a pretty good game. I think he had 8 catches and a touchdown, right?
He did have the touchdown. Did he have 8 catches? I know in the first half he had like 1 catch. 5 catches, yeah.
He had like 5 catches. The dude stinks.
He doesn't stink. I just maybe think he's not as good as we thought.
The dude stinks. He's a name merchant. If his name wasn't Marvin Harrison Jr., the dude would have been a 3rd round pick.
I don't know, dude. His Ohio State tape is really good.
Yeah, so was Chris Olave's, Jackson Smith and Jigba's, Garrett Wilson's.
Well, JSN's a stud now.
Yeah, but they're all good spread at Ohio State.
Oh, I understand your point. Okay, I understand your point. All right. Well, I think Harrison will be okay. I think this is a bad landing spot for him. But Tyler, I'll admit the advanced analytics agree with you. The people, I can't believe
you can't blame Kyler for this dude being a bum when he's got Trey McBride out there catching all these passes and getting all these yards. He's not getting in the end zone, which just seems like an outlier. But the Trey McBride is thriving, and Marvin Harrison just can't do it. I don't think it's Kyler's fault.
What do you think of Marvin Harrison, Jayme?
I think Marvin Harrison's a good player. I think he's definitely was probably a little overhyped. I mean, when you look at this team, right, it's also we talk about, it's Kyler Murray's fault and stuff like that. But Brian Thomas has been playing with Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence has not been playing that well all year. Malik Neighbors. He's looked pretty good with Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito. I think we'd all agree that Kyle Murray is a much better quarterback than all of those guys. So I don't know, maybe if it's the scheme, I'm not sure. I think Marvin Harrison's a good player, but I definitely don't think he was like this, the generational prospect that everyone kind of thought he was coming out of college, right? Like I think the name probably did matter too, right? The reality is he came from one of the greatest receivers of all time. And he played at Ohio State. He put up good numbers, but I'm with you. I think he's probably slightly overhyped. Maybe next year he has a better season, but as of right now, he's probably the third best rookie wide receiver in the league.
4th. Putting Brock Bowers above him.
Oh yeah. We're adding tight end for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who's gonna have a better career, Jayme? Travis Hunter or Marvin Harrison?
I guess it probably depends on where Travis Hunter goes, but I kind of probably say Travis Hunter. I don't know.
I'd say Travis Hunter.
Especially if he goes to Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's offense is built around Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, and Brian Thomas.
And you throw Evan Ingram in there. And then if they get Ben Johnson in the offseason, like, come on. And also, real quick, let's talk about Ben Johnson for a second. It cracked me up that I saw a report this week that the Bears' #1 target as of right now for head coach is Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. And I'm a big Notre Dame fan, so I like Marcus Freeman. So that's, as a Packer fan, though, I hope more than anything that is true, man. Get a defensive-minded head coach in there. that I've seen struggle in big games quite often for Notre Dame. Like I hope so more than anything. So
why would
I hope
they go for him? That's literally like a terrible franchise, dude.
The Bears,
That's-
whoever's calling the shots for the Bears is just he's just blind. He just doesn't know what he's doing.
that's what I'm
supposedly
saying.
that organization, I complain about the Raiders, but like at least they spend money and they're not cheap. Supposedly they're like the cheapest organization. Like I was listening to the guy, Middlecoff, who was a scout for the Eagles, and he's got a podcast now. And he was talking about how all the other ones flying him in like first class, and the Bears give him like a coach ticket.
Dan Quinn, yeah, I saw that too.
Give him a bus ticket, like unbelievable here. So it sucks to be a Bears fan. Okay, where were we? Oh, we were talking about the Seahawks Cardinals. We kind of got off track. Remind me one more time, Jayme, are you on this game at all?
Which one? The Seattle, Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's under. Yep, under 45 and a half, but I like 44 and a half too.
All right. A game that I'm not sure where to land here. I love the Buffalo Bills, but I can't get a handle on this Los Angeles Rams team at all. So my head just says lay it with the Bills. They're like 10 times better than the Rams, but I just can't figure out the Rams. So what do you think, Jayme?
This is tough, man. This is one of those games. Some of these 4.5 point spreads, man. They just throw you off. It feels trappy, right? Because I feel like
5 offshore.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, I definitely would like to lean Buffalo here, but you just don't know what you get with the Rams, man. Some weeks this team just looks really, really good, and some weeks the team just looks like they struggle to move the football. I do think the defense is playing better, but the Bills just look really good right now, man. It's tough to fade them. It's going to be a pass for me. I probably would lean towards the Bills. I think it's still at 4 at DraftKings. So if you like the Bills, you want to go hammer that before it moves to 4.5 all the other places. But
yeah, that's great. I got 5 offshore, and usually that's a pretty good indicator of where these lines are going. So good opportunity for you guys there. Tyler, what do you think?
I'd take Buffalo here if I had to bet this game. I mean, they win games by margin. The Rams, they beat up on bad teams. They don't really beat good teams. Sometimes they play good teams somewhat close, but then they get blown out in the end of the games. So if I'm taking anybody, I'm taking Buffalo here. My only worry is they just clinched the division. It's kind of a spot that they can take it easy. But I also think that they want the 1 seed, and they know if they win out and KC takes one more loss, they have the tiebreaker, and they're going to force KC to come to Buffalo. So I think you're going to get effort here. I think Buffalo just kind of pounds them. So I'd be on Buffalo.
Fair enough. Jayme, the Chicago Bears are +4 taking on the 49ers. Give me the Bears. New coach bump.
Yeah. I mean,
49ers are dead.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that this is a game that's in San Francisco and they're only like 4-point favorites, 3.5 I see too at DraftKings and FanDuel still too, but pretty juiced up. That is crazy. I never thought we'd be live in a world where in 2024 the 49ers are only 4-point home favorites to the Chicago Bears, but the Bears have actually played pretty well the last couple of weeks. Easily could have beat Minnesota. Easily could have ended up beating Detroit. Getting rid of the head coach, I think, is impactful, man. That he's a donkey, dude. He is terrible. As a Packer fan, I wish they signed him to a lifetime contract. I mean, I can. Dude, he's terrible. He's the worst coach in the league, but it's not even close. But that offense is starting to move the ball, man. They're starting to get Keenan Allen more involved, DJ Moore more involved. The defense is still legit. The 49ers just look like a disaster. Lose CMC, now lose Jordan Mason. They still got some pieces in there. Brock Purdy wasn't 100%. It was a tough game to play in the snow. So, I could see the 49ers cover. They're still not mathematically out of the playoffs. I think it's like an 8% chance or something like that. But also, like I said, if you're the 49ers, your best bet is anyways to lose. There's nothing worse than being the 15th best team in the league. So lose and try to get a top 10 pick if you can. I'm with you. I lean with the Bears.
If you don't need a quarterback, I don't think it matters. You can
get
get
offensive
in the 3rd round.
Yeah, the issue is the 49ers.
I would rather win and just go.
I mean, they had their injury year when they didn't need a quarterback, and the guy they ended up picking was Nick Bosa. So I mean,
yeah,
but
that's the worst problem to end up there.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand your point there, but
if you can get an offensive lineman, I mean, still, right? You still would rather have a top 10 pick than the 15th pick and not make the playoffs. And if you want to trade it, you can trade it. But they need offensive line help too, man. The defense has been a little banged up too. So They need
Their
the
fault.
pieces.
They never dropped offensive linemen.
We talk about their Super Bowl door being shut. Like Trent Williams is going to need a replacement eventually. Like that's not a bad idea to try and draft another stud lineman, get him going, get another version of Trent Williams somewhat.
Yep.
It's going to have to bridge off to somebody eventually.
Yep. And I just want to toot my own horn here for one quick second. Me at the beginning of the year saying this 49ers team is fraudulent is probably one of the best takes I ever had. Everyone was picking on this team to win the Super Bowl, and I was like, this team, their window is closed, man. They're old. Purdy's not near as good as people think he is. Kyle Shanahan probably isn't as good as people is, and the defense is just not near as good as it has been in the past. And obviously, they have had a lot of injuries, which definitely helps. But even with that, man, they're losing games at the beginning of the year without these injuries. So, like, I just this team is they need to revamp something, man. And Kyle Shanahan is such a fake sharp, man. I was so high on this coach, but he settles for field goals way too often. You know, not even just this past week. He's done this all year. He's done this in the past too. It's like, and also this franchise drafted a kicker in the third round. I mean, come on, dude. Like this team needs to be revamped, and they'll be good again in the future. They still have pieces, but they're old, man. They got to get some new pieces in there.
What do you think, Tyler? I already bet this, so are you going to join me?
Yeah, we're taking them plus 3.5. We're taking the money line. I think they win the game outright. I don't think San Fran really. They just like I said, really don't have much to play for. They are so beat up. It's an understatement when you say a lot of injuries. To be completely honest, like the list of injuries is non-ending. Like it's ridiculous, and they just keep adding up. Like CMC comes back, his leg explodes. Jordan Mason follows him to the IR. Now it's just Garendo in the backfield. Purdy's playing with a bad shoulder. Trent Williams isn't playing. He's hurt. He's got an ankle injury. Like, they are just so beat up. You get the new coach bump with Chicago. I mean, we've tried fading that new coach bump a couple times this year, just fading bad teams. And it came back to bite us. So we'll ride it this time with Chicago. Should be able to move the ball in this defense. So I think they win this game.
All right. Final game of the night. The Kansas City Chiefs take on the LA Chargers. I just wrote this one up for Odds Trader. I'm sending it out right now. But the point of my article is, Jayme, that I cannot trust this team with the way that their left tackle situation is. When I say this team, terrible idea. I'm not being very good for radio. I cannot trust the Kansas City Chiefs because of their left tackle situation. You just signed a guy off the street in week 14 and you're going for the Super Bowl. I think Harbaugh's going to be able to take advantage of it. We'll probably all be complaining on the recap show about how the Chiefs got lucky again to get the win, but I don't think he'll be lucky enough to get the cover. Give me the Chargers +4. What do you think?
This other game, I probably like the under. I haven't bet it yet. I'm going to stay away. This Chiefs team just tough, and they just squeak out wins, man, every single week. I was on the Raiders last week, which luckily they did cover, but Raiders should have won outright. I don't know, man. This is tough. I think the Chargers are a good football team. I don't know. It's a pass for me on the side, man, but I do like the under here.
All right. You like the under, and I'm fine with that too. It kind of correlates to my thinking. Less points there are in the game, the more right? +4 is a lot more valuable in a game that lands on 34 than it is in a game that lands on 56.
Yep.
Tyler, I'm going against the Chiefs. I saw you in the chat yesterday. You said, thank God spread finally admitted the Chiefs are not the best team in the AFC. And now I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, Tyler. I'm not just on here talking. I'm ready to bet the Chargers. What do you think?
I don't think I can join you, spread.
No way.
I don't think I'm going to back the Chiefs. I think they win the game, but I think 3.5 might be too low of a number to try and fade the Chiefs here, where I think you could just be sweating the bet a little bit too much. Too many little things could happen to screw you. Like, we talk about the Chargers being such a good team. Well, they have one wide receiver, and he got hurt last game.
Yeah.
Their running game died with J.K. Dobbins because Gus Edwards ain't carrying that. Mm-hmm. So it's all on Herbert to throw the ball to Will Dissly because Quentin Johnson ain't catching it. Go look at the box score from their Atlanta game when Herbert was allowed to stand back there with no pressure whatsoever, and check out the targets and the catches in that game. Yeah. Ladd McConkey had, I'll get you the exact numbers, I'll pull them up now, but I believe he had 10 targets, with 8 catches, and the next highest guy, 1 catch. You don't think Spags and those guys know that for the Chiefs? Like, this is the best defense in the league. This is what's won them Super Bowls for years. I get it, Mahomes is there, but their defense has been elite. They're going to take McConkey out of the game. If he even plays, he has a knee injury, and force Herbert to beat him with just Will Dissly or these other receivers who can't really catch the ball. Well, the Chargers could sled on the Chiefs on the other hand, too. I love the under call by Jayme. I think that's the best play in this game is just taking the under and leaving the side alone. I'm going to slightly lean towards the Chiefs, though, in this one, but under is the play.
All right. I can't really argue with you there.
Yeah, here's their box score from last game spread. Lad McConkey, 12 targets, 9 catches, 117 yards. Quentin Johnson did have 4 targets. He had 2 catches. He had 12 yards. Then you had Josh Palmer with 1 target, 1 catch for 11. Stone Smart came in with 2 targets, 1 catch for 3 yards. Demario Davis came in 1 catch, 1 target, 3 yards. And Matlock came in 1 catch, 1 target, 2 yards. That's not going to beat the Chiefs. That'll get you past Atlanta with all the field goals. That'll not win you a Chiefs game.
Yeah. All right. Jayme, what's your best bet?
Going back to Old Faithful. Give me Green Bay plus 3.5.
Unbelievable. What's your best bet that doesn't involve your favorite team?
The best bet that doesn't involve favorite team. I would say the under in the Seattle-Arizona game. It did move a little bit, but I still like the under 44.5 in that one.
Okay. Fair enough. And
but it's Green Bay plus 3.5.
I had to do that, Jayme. The people could have. They didn't need to tune in to find out that you're betting the Packers, Jayme.
I'm just saying, man.
All right. And it sucks because, like I said earlier in the show, I really was getting ready for, just an all-out
big debate.
Right? It was going to be Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul all over again, right? The old man was going to come out swinging. But I couldn't do it with all those injuries to the defensive line there. I do like the over in that game. Tyler, what's your favorite bet of the week?
I got 2 for them. I'll do the money line parlay we talked about earlier, the Vikings and the Steelers at about minus 110. And I'm going to give out an underdog. Give me the New York Giants to win outright.
Yes. I hope you're right. I so hope you're right. Okay. My best bet for the week, guys. Give me Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, the new head coach bump. I wanted to fade the Niners anyways.
Yeah.
Their best player's got a broken ankle. Joey Bosa is not going to play till next year. I guess it's Isaac Guerrero season. I don't even know who's playing running back. The team's too beat up. And you're right, Jayme, and I'll give you credit because I thought that they were going to make it work. They weren't able to make it work, and the Bears put the nail in the coffin this week. Give me the Chicago Bears. Final thoughts from you, Jayme?
No, thanks for having me on again, man. Good week. I'm excited. We're getting close to the end. I think we're going to have a good week 14, though. I think we're all on some good looks here.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week. Of course, I'm kind of in a rush. I'm actually having to work right now, Jayme. Working for a living, it's rough, man. It is rough. But I'm happy to be able to spend this time with you guys. We got Andrew and Justin tomorrow night. And Tyler, you guys are doing the prop party on Thursday, right?
Yep. Prop party on Thursday. We got to end this show with one last message, Fred.
All right.
Better go bet them Green Bay Super Bowl tickets.